What was the incident at your high school? We had a guy nicknamed Pajama Boy. Skinny dude who used to show up in sweat pants and a white shirt every day. Different shirt and pants every day. But still, he had a trend going. After being told by his mentor he should try to wear something different, he started wearing custom-made shirts with pictures of female teachers, accompanied by the caption "Blondes, brunettes, redheads are beautiful." He actually persisted through graduation. If you're reading this, bless you, Vince. You magnificent bastard. Our school had burned to the ground in 1986 and been rebuilt. One day in 2003 my teacher entered through the door with smoke billowing in from the hallway screaming, "It's a real ducking fire. Get out." We all promptly forgot the fire drill protocols and jumped out the windows. The year after I graduated they paid a local artist sculptor $250,000 to come up with an original sculpture that was supposed to capture the essence of our school and community. Ended up being a 12.5 tall golden vag that lit up. There was this one guy that got expelled on the last day of school. He got caught vaping in class. The teacher told him to put away and he would forget about it. He said no. This goes back and forth with the teacher literally giving him a free pass and the kid kept saying no. Eventually the dean gets called and he says the exact same thing to the kid and the kid still says no. Eventually the dean gives him one last chance and kid still refuses to cooperate and the dean says he is expelled. The kid then freaked out and left the school, hitting a parked car on the way out. Someone sprayed weed eater in the shape of a big dig on our school field. You can still see that sheet on Google Earth. Some mean girls lured another girl to the beach, saying they were just skipping class to go hang out at the beach. But instead, they beat her up and set her hair on fire. The 3 mean girls were arrested and sent to juvenile detention for a year. And they were all held back a year from high school. The girl who was assaulted moved out of town. All of this because of boys. She was apparently flirting with one of the mean girl's boyfriends. So dumb. Junior year, the seniors hotboxed the entire 3rd floor and a freshman got arrested for prostitution. In about 02, a bunch of rednecks at my high school chased a black kid with a noose. That little joke cost the school district a pretty large check. Bonus 1. My school had black mold and we had classes in the suites of a racetrack for several months. Someone shit inside the ceiling in one of the classrooms. Nobody knew who did it. And, as this was a military school and nobody would confess, we all got punished severely. Someone during my senior year, who was definitely not me, stole a urinal from one of the bathrooms and supposedly hid it in the school. It has never been found. Before homecoming, our football team burned a message into our rival's field. School name is gonna loose. Some hunt threw a dildo at someone. That hunt might have been me. A girl had a stillborn baby in the bathroom and decided to just throw it in the trash and walk away. Student hung himself after his mom died. Football linebacker punched a special needs student in the face for looking at him funny. Another student used his backpack full of textbooks as makeshift flail and nearly broke the linebacker's arm. Said special education student may or may not have been my younger brother. Student who went medieval on that punk says with a backpack may or may not have been me. Police were called, and it was determined that somehow, despite 40 people seeing the flailing, no one saw the punching that took place less than 10 seconds beforehand. Also the school's $2.2 million security system with cameras mysteriously wasn't recording from the 3 cameras which have seen this. Mother of the 2 students being faced with expulsion spent 45 minutes in the principal's office with the school resource officer and the bus driver who witnessed the events. People could hear her in the cafeteria, through 4 rooms, and about 50 feet away total. Students were not expelled. Principal flinched whenever student's mother came for events and passed him. Students learned their mother was a true badass. Biology teacher had a mental breakdown during class. It was a kid's birthday, so when everyone started singing happy birthday, he threw the board eraser at them and yelled at them to shut up. He then took the cake from them and ran out. He was later found at a nearby Walmart and we didn't see him again that semester. He came back the following year with a much calmer attitude. Girl came to school wasted and was expelled. Not her first offense, obviously. She got on the intercom on her way out and let us all know how she felt about it. I happened to be in class with her brother at the time. Haha. Good times. Edit. Her announcement started as incoherent. I think the mic was too close to her mouth or something. It ended with well. I just wanted to say F you, dean name, and F you, school name. Some kids thought it would be funny to replace the science video with a pornographic film. Our class trip was cancelled. The fine arts wing of my high school had practice rooms, soundproof, insulated, but very much see-through with glass doors and everything. You couldn't even pick your nose without at least 10 people walking by and judging you. Somehow. For some reason. There were 3 different incidents where band kids got caught ducking in them. Not 1. Not 2. Ducking 3 separate couples. The band director started enlisting in the help of the drum line to sit around and monitor practice room activity before, after school and during study hall periods. A guy accidentally shot his friend in the back of the head. Both were pretty popular. White. Upper income bracket, if any of that is relevant. The victim didn't die right away. And was on life support for about 2 weeks before the parents pulled the plug. Everyone pretty much accepted that it was a total accident, just 2 teens sitting by the lake playing with dad's handgun that they found and trying to see how it worked. The shooter pulled out of school for the rest of the year and came back after the summer. He was met with a lot of support, but by the end of the first day, some kid made a comment or joke to him about it and he ducking lost it. Just went crazy, crying and screaming at the kid. After that, he transferred to another school. Someone put bubble bath in the school fountain 1 year. Very funny. Haha. Point is that it was harmless. Some chair leg decided to put some sort of industrial grade dye in the fountain the year after. Crews had to be called in and the dye had to be chemically removed because the pressure washers weren't up to it. Worst of all, it was a WWII memorial fountain and it stayed drained for weeks while it was cleaned. At the end of the first semester of my freshman year, the principal resigned for family reasons, but actually a student caught him and another teacher hooking up in a classroom. Both were married and now he teaches SAT-ACT prep courses. Year after I graduated, some senior lead a 5-year-old into the locker room during a baseball game and raped him. Guy had now 6 with prostitute. Didn't notice prostitute was male. He disappeared shortly after. Didn't notice? What the duck? You sure he didn't notice? Gym teacher was perving on the 6th grade girls. A classmate killed herself in junior year. Then in senior year another girl died of a congenital heart defect. Sophomore vaping in the bathrooms. Vapes are contraband in the country where I live. A special ed student was peeing in a urinal with his pants all the way down and one guy Snapchatted it to a bunch of people who forwarded it to a bunch of other people. Thankfully he was suspended. Edit. The guy who Snapchatted was suspended. I did this when I was in 1st grade. Urinal with my pants down. One time I took my pants off and did it. They found a suspicious water bottle in the boys' bathroom. They sent all of us out to the football field because they thought it was a GOM squad comes and we see them pull up and go into the school. They come out about 20 minutes later and say, okay everyone go back to class, it was just spoiled milk. Everyone just started laughing. We couldn't believe it. Still cracks me up to this day. A black boy in my year got chained to a lamppost and supposedly whipped in a mock slave auction. The headmaster immediately tried to expel all offenders, but the school's governing body overruled his decision, meaning they got off with little to no punishment, which went down about as badly with the press as one would imagine. The school, previously awarded an outstanding, is now being threatened with closure. School's governing body? How could anybody involved think this is okay? All future school dances got cancelled because a girl got high on ecstasy and got 4 guys to pull their big digs out and she blew them all in a circle in the middle of the dance floor. That's just the start. Why cancel the party? The bus crash was pretty bad for sad incidents. 2 of the drill members having a threesome with the football player that led to a big fight was a ridiculous and funny incident. Well, there was a few, but I'll go with my favorite. A senior dyed the pool black and got arrested for doing so. This was great for me because no having to swim for gym for a week because it had to be completely cleaned. A box of sheet, not literal sheet, just some rank sheet, was put in the head girl's locker after she narsed on a group of lads leaving school during lunch break to go grab McDonald's. She started crying and ran to the principal. We then all got brought into a classroom and yelled out for it. All the while I could barely contain myself because it was so ridiculous. For context, the head girl was one of the girls that was nominated by the teachers to be the representative of our year group, but was just the person who would knock on us if any shenanigans happened, which was daily. My friends and I created an Instagram account called Mooma Milkman and followed everyone in the school. It was near the end of the year, so we decided that anyone who figured out who Mooma Milkman was by the end of the year would get some sort of prize, assuming they told no one else, and each day, or maybe week, we would post a hint on the account. We would sometimes comment on other people's posts and we would always reply to DMs. My friend was horrible at keeping secrets and literally, I am using this word correctly, went around telling people that we were Mooma Milkman. Word got around to his ex who got pissed and somehow started a movement saying that Mooma Milkman was somehow bullying everyone in the school, even though everything we said on that account was instant responses to people asking questions. The shitstorm got real and the leader of the group made a mistake that, although it seemed like no one caught on, he was worried enough about it that he bailed and passed leadership to someone who was somehow worse at keeping secrets than that person who just told everyone. They were bad enough at it that the shitstorm got even bigger and everyone started figuring out who was behind it. So everyone in the original group decided that was enough and reported the account. Enough, it got removed. It's been 3 years now and I decided to make my Kahoot name Mooma Milkman just once and the room immediately turned into a witch hunt trying to figure out who it was. TLDR, made a joke Instagram account to make a game for the entire school and people got pissed. The girl that was leader of the goths caught a squirrel and tortured it in the middle of the football field and left it there on fire. I was a few minutes late to school that day. I came into the classroom and the first thing I saw was my teacher in tears. Confused, I asked one of my classmates what's going on. He told me that one of our teachers was found dead in her flat. To this day I wonder what happened to her. Kid hanged himself at the bell tower. Also, a football coach was accused of molesting most of the team. A kid was called into the vice principal's office because he was speeding on an e-scooter. After rolling into the office, the vice principal got about a sentence in before the kid pulled a wrench out and smacked the VP in the jaw with it. A kid tried hitting a staff member with a fire extinguisher. In high school, a student, who was already having a rough go in the popularity department, signed out one of the camcorders from the tech department, filmed himself masturbating, and accidentally left the tape in the camera, which was found by some girls. Someone took a sheet and sink in the pay changing rooms. The timing meant that it was someone in my year, so we were held back after assembly. The head of sports speaks to us and is trying to sound serious and telling us how the cleaner went in and found a feces and everybody has to try not to laugh. Absolutely nobody seemed to know who had done it. Which one? My friend killed herself right before freshman year started. My brother rode dead on K2 and everyone thought he died. He didn't. Another 2 kids dead on K2 a few months later and one nearly drowned in the pool. Another kid nearly drowned, passed out and everything. A teacher punched a very pregnant girl. Mr. P hooked up with Mrs. K on the senior trip. While MRS P was still in the picture, Mrs. K is the new MRS. Capital P. Some girl had her sex tape leaked. A girl died in a DUI. A boy died in a football accident last summer doing that military drill with the logs. Last week another friend of mine died at marching band. Another girl tried killing herself BC she was being bullied and the school did nothing. Edit. There's more but a lot less eventful. Principal tried painting over 40 plus years of class murals that scatter all over the halls. Some girl got pregnant and gave the dad chlamydia. One of the art teachers was fired after having sex with one of his students. She was 18 though. And I got called a shooter once. It didn't spread around school or anything, I'm just pissed about it still. This past year we almost got shot up and we went on lockdown. School was put on lockdown for 6 hours because someone shot the school cop. Turns out he shot himself in the hopes of getting paid time off. In my senior year our English teacher started missing classes or coming extremely late. It came to the point that she even missed parent-teacher conferences that included the principal or counselors. She always looked extremely tired or pale and didn't give a single shit about what was going on. Tests she graded had long lines across like she had fallen asleep while grading them and scratched the whole paper with her pen. During class while we were reading or doing some activity which she didn't have to be like supervising or explaining, she would be falling asleep or asleep. We never got a proper explanation for what was going on and suddenly we got a substitute teacher for the last 1/3 of the school year. We all assumed she was on some sort of drugas because it was the most likely explanation, but it was just a theory. I had a teacher disappear. The school kept giving her problem kids for her class each year more than the last. Well, she had a mental breakdown and just vanished. It's a shame to BC, she was one of my favorite teachers. I learned so much from her, it got me through college bio without the need to study. Hope she is out there having a better time. Girl ran away from home freshman year with her BF by stealing parents' car. Kid died at a football game. He was playing with his friends. Tried to do a backflip off of the curb. He didn't land it right. And smashed open his skull on the concrete. He died later at the hospital. When my buddy decided to take a nap during band because he was high on prescription pills, lol. I've got 3 good ones. 1. When I went to the Catholic high school. They held an annual 25-hour fast at Tom for some bullshit religious reason. I can't remember which. My GF at the time went to public high school. So I went to her 30 hours fast to raise money to remove landmines. Anyway, during the fast, there was a small church service. Chaperones took attendance and found a popular, very prim and prissy girl and jock were missing. Found them blowing each other in the bathroom not 20 feet from the school chapel. Given that the girl was an honor student and the jock was a star athlete, they tried to sweep it under the rug. But of course word got out and everyone had a good laugh. 2. While at the Catholic school, a new student arrived halfway through the grade 11. Weird. Loner. Quiet. Didn't really engage with anyone. Turns out the guy had come from the public school after getting caught whacking it in the back row of the music stand. 3. When I eventually transferred out of that hole and went to the public school, a friend of mine and one of his idiot associates stole a blowtorch from the shop wing and were burning shit in the basement. The school was built in 1885 and the basement was full of 75-year-old desks, coat racks, football equipment, outdated textbooks. Idiot dares my friend to light a t-shirt and throw it on an antique coat rack. Friend declines. So idiot does it himself. The coat rack went up like, well, a 100-year-old wooden coat rack. Fire spread in a matter of seconds through the whole basement. Whole school was evacuated in the middle of January in the frigid wasteland of eastern Ontario in -35°C weather. Idiot was charged with mischief and arson. Was expelled and did some time in juvie. Friend pleaded no contest to the mischief charge and got a suspended sentence. Kid was caught masturbating in class during a movie. Some kid decided to defecate in the urinals. In multiple bathrooms. At my school. Then decided to take it and rub it on the walls with his hands. We called him the poop bandit. 5 kids got stabbed by some other kid. They all survived though. This happened about a year ago. That sounds like that could be a cheesy high school romantic flick. So many. One of my friends broke up with his GF. And 4 months after the breakup she wore his Tommy Hilfiger windbreaker every day. All day. This is in Florida. Even our emo crowd wore shorts in the hotter months. Everyone chalked it up to her not letting the relationship die. I was still friends with both and hung out with her often. Well, I go into school one day. And before I even make it to class, I'm being asked if rumors are true about her having a baby. I blew the first person off. Then the second. The third I was getting a little wary. By the sixth, I was bedside myself on whether it was true or not, I should say. Though I hoped it was implied. She was absent during all of this. Bell rings. I drive straight to her house. Knock on the door. She answers holding. Yup, you guessed it. A newborn baby. No DNA test needed. I've known the father since we were 5. Definitely his baby. Can I do junior high? A girl lit another girl on fire over a boy. Background. So we have announcements over the PA system every day at second period. Some of those announcements include the vice principal telling some student who parked in the faculty parking spots that their car will be towed. Incident. Every year the seniors do a mini prank thing at the end of the year before graduation. The student leaders of our year decided ours would be that we hire a tow truck and tow our vice principal's car around the school parking lot. Good times. To lad smeared sheet all over the walls of the toilets. The amount I heard was smeared must have been at least 4 turds. All the males in the school had to stay in the hall at lunch. Then just the year 11s, last year of high school UK, the teachers found out. I still have no idea how they found out. Don't think anyone would come forward. The lads use their hands to do it. No gloves.